Okay, I think we're live. Are we live? We're live. Yes? Yes. Okay, good. Right. Now, we're back to reading some Loomis. This is... Oh, hang on. Where are we? This is Successful Drawing by Andrew Loomis. A book from the 50s that is available for free on Goodreads. Well, the PDF is available for free on Goodreads. You can buy a copy if you like. Okay, so we read this page. We're going to read, I think, these 2 pages now. I don't know if you can tell, but my voice is a bit not good right now. I'm not sure why. I haven't got a cold or anything. Got some coffee though, so that's good. Okay, so I'm assuming this is all actually working. Go to the bookmark. No, go to the bookmark. There we go. Okay, so let's start here. We're still in the fundamentals section of the book. Okay. To understand why a drawing does or does not appeal, we must recognize a certain ability that is developed in every normal individual from early childhood through adult life. The term intelligent perception, I think, comes as close to any to describing this faculty. It is vision coordinated with the brain. It is a sense of rightness developed by contact. At some time or other, our brains accept certain effects or appearances as truth, and abide by these decisions. We learn to distinguish one appearance from another, in size or proportion, in colour, and in texture. All the senses combine to give us intelligent perception. We have a sense of space or depth, even if we know nothing of the science of perspective. We are quickly aware of distortion or deformity, since the appearance does not coincide with what experience has taught us is normal or truthful. Form is registered in the mind, even if we know nothing of anatomy and proportion, so that we recognize a face immediately, though we could not even give a good verbal description of it. Our sense of proportion tells us that this is a child and that a term which we do not use anymore, a small person, or this is a puppy and that a small dog. Intelligent perception includes a feeling for bulk and contour. We know a swan from a goose, or a goose from a duck. This trait is as well developed in those who look at art as it is in artists. We all, as individuals, have subconsciously accepted certain effects of light. We know when appearances are consistent with daylight, artificial light, twilight, or bright sunlight. Such perception is part of nature. Right, okay. The minute the spectator sees change of proportion, distortion, change of form, colour, or texture, he realizes something is wrong. For he, just read whatever your pronoun is. This is a book from the 50s. It's going to have some interesting wording in it. The cleverest imitation will not fool him. The dummy in the department store window is a dummy to everyone. We know flesh from wax by the effects that have previously been registered in our minds. We artists cannot ignore intelligent perception and expect to secure intelligent response, or even favourable response to our work. Make up your mind that your audience will react to your work just as it does to life itself. Intelligent perception finds only truth convincing. The layman does not need to know anything of art to know whether he likes your work or not. We can all use the arguments, alibis, and defences in the world. We can use all the arguments, alibis, and defences in the world. We can explain ourselves hoarse, but we cannot affect something so deeply embedded in human consciousness. If what we say in paint is untrue, in colour values or effect, the spectator feels it, and there is nothing we can do to convince him otherwise. Psychological response goes still further. Every picture should have some reason for existence, some purpose behind it. If we can make the spectator feel that purpose, we have succeeded further in capturing his interest. Not only is every man or woman, or, anyone in between, not only is every man living among nature's effects, he is also living experiences. Life is not only what he sees, but what he feels, supplementing in our drawing an emotion that is already within him secures further response. You can feel emotion only within yourself, and any emotion that is in your work must come from you. You can be sure that most of the emotions you feel are also present in others. That is why we live through a movie or a play with the characters. To a considerable degree, we like or dislike performance insofar as it has appealed to our individual emotions. For the same reason, we like or dislike a piece of art. When drawing is convincing to the intelligent perception of the spectator because of its rightness of form, texture, space, and lighting, and at the same time appeals to his emotions, the artist can depend upon a favourable response. Drawing should not be taught by teaching specialised or individual techniques. What should be taught is the way to get the form. I have just realised you can't see this, can you? Because I have not got rid of that. Hang on. There we go, there's the book. You can see the book there. Right. Anyway, we're down at the bottom of the first page. Just about to move on to the second page. Right, where was I? I was at drawing should not be taught by teaching specialised or individual techniques. What should be taught is the way to get the form, the contours, the values, regardless of mannerisms. How Jim Jones handles a pencil has little to do with your main problem. How he handles light on form and contours is what we look for, in case he interests you. However, if Jim Jones is good, you can be quite certain he goes for his information to the one best source, life itself. He has probably employed a model or used a camera to secure intelligent information. He keeps faking to a minimum, using his imagination only when he has no other way of getting a result. There are certain basic elements of good drawing, without which no drawing can really be successful. I believe these elements can be taught. So far, I have been unable to find a textbook of drawing which defines the relationship of proportion and perspective to the study of light and shadow. Since these elements are so thoroughly interdependent, this book, which presents them that way. Wait, did I read that right? Come on, brain, find the words. Which presents them that way, yes. Should meet a real need. Now, this was in the 50s, so the beginning of the 50s at that, so there probably are books that will be very helpful now. In fact, there definitely are. But this book is still helpful, so we'll just keep reading this for now. And it's free, so cool. For those who have an understanding of nature's laws, plus vision, the greatest teacher is nature itself. If the artist has the technique of depicting the construction and contours of an object set in space, plus the knowledge of how light operates on the forms we consider basic, he has acquired the springboard to his own individual expression, which, after all, is of greater value than anything else. Suppose we ask ourselves what a good drawing is. Let us think first of the qualities that make up a good drawing. These point out the departments of our craft. Anything we draw is dimensional. It has height, breadth, thickness. there is a ratio between the three dimensions, which we call proportion. Then all the parts within the subject have ratios to one another, and if these are correct, they add up to make the overall dimensions correct. A drawing cannot be good if it is not in proportion. So let us call proportion the number one element. Since the proportions exist in the thing we wish to draw, even before we have drawn it, let us consider how we shall place it within the boundaries of our paper surface. Let us think of the paper as representing open space, within which we wish to place the subject. We want it to settle nicely within the area in which it is most pleasing. In which it is most pleasing, and at the same time, most convincing. We look carefully at the subject to select a viewpoint. We may cut a finder, a rectangular opening in a card that is in proportion to our drawing area, to see just where the subject should go. How big or small should it be? How close or far away, and where? Let us call this element placement. When a viewpoint has been selected and the placement decided upon, we start to draw. The third element pops up. We cannot draw an object without perspective. Since perspective is the first main problem that arises, it is the first thing the artist should learn. An understanding of it should precede or be a part of every art school training. No drawing is real drawing unless it is related to an eye level or horizon, with the relationship understood by the artist. The subject of perspective cannot be covered completely in this book, but I shall attempt to give the stock-in-trade knowledge of it that I believe is indispensable. I suggest, however, that you get other books and while you are learn as much about it as possible, since it is one of the most important elements of successful drawing. Suppose we understand the perspective and get it correct. What now? In order to set up convincing form in the effect of light, halftone, and shadow, we must separate the three into planes. Through the effect of light on planes, we arrive at the solid appearance of the form. We look first for areas or planes of full light. Then, as the form turns away from the light, we find the halftone areas or planes. Beyond the halftone planes, we find the areas that are in shadow, the shadow planes. Within the shadow, we find reflected light, which, though a part of the shadow, still defines form. After defining the planes, we come to another element of good drawing, which we may call pattern. When we deal with values, we become involved in the tonal arrangement of drawing. Pattern is another aspect of composition. Placement relates to composition in terms of line. Pattern relates to it in terms of tonal areas. Here is where creativeness gets its first chance. We can arrange the patterns of a subject, not simply there's a wee fly flying about now. Here's where creativeness gets its first chance. We can arrange the patterns of a subject, not simply accept all patterns as the camera does. Nature's patterns may be good or bad in our opinion, and within our particular space limits. Every drawing is an artist's problem in spacing and arrangement. Every drawing is an artist's problem in spacing and arrangement of the patterns of tone. And my voice is going, so I will just leave it there for now, and I will change my bookmark. Actually, let's add a new bookmark here. Right. So, bookmark 2. Actually, can I just call it bookmark as well? I can. Let's get rid of this first one then. Yeah, get rid of that one. Delete. It's just this one I've got. Let me check. No? Yes. Okay, so I'll get back to that next time. And hopefully I'll figure out a schedule for doing these readings. And other stuff as well, because there's other stuff I need to do. Anyway, you don't need to know that. Thank you for watching. If you did, if you didn't, then, well, you don't know, so fine. I hope you had fun doing whatever you're doing. And you won't know that either, but never mind. So, bye.